This book was my least favorite of the Thrawn trilogy, and while its second half was better, I found it hard to follow or care about. There are a lot of new characters introduced and the story's focus shifts part way through the book. I still enjoyed reading it, but overall I was disappointed with the story and how it followed Thrawn's previous stories. The story for this book was mostly split between two focuses, and one was much better than the other in my eyes. The conflict between funding different Imperial projects is the catalyst for the entire story, and it leads to an investigation by Thrawn that I found to be relatively boring. It was drawn out and I found myself caring very little about the story as it developed. I did, however, enjoy the conflict in the Outer Rim and unknown regions between the Empire, the Chiss Ascendancy, and the Grisk. I found it hard to care about the Chiss at the beginning, but as they were developed more I enjoyed their scenes more, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the relationships between the three groups develops. I would have expected Eli Vanto's return in this book to be more enjoyable, but for the first part of the story I just didn't find myself connecting to the character like I did when he originally appeared. It helped when he got to be away from Thrawn and his role in the Chiss Ascendancy was detailed more, but something about his character and the way it was presented felt different from before. There's also a lot of new characters introduced throughout the book. I found a few Imperials to be interesting, but they mostly all blended together. The connections to other media helped me stay interested when the story got slow. Being set during the final season of Star Wars Rebels, members of the Ghost Crew are mentioned multiple times as well as the events currently unfolding on Lothal. Palpatine, who plays a small role in the book, even mentions his plan to lure Ezra to the dark side. The conflict between Tarkin and Krennic seen in Rogue One is also further developed throughout the story. While I wasn't a huge fan of the Imperial politics in this book, the story expands what we know about the unknown regions in an interesting way. Both the Chiss and the Grisk are developed in intriguing ways, and it's exciting to think about all of the future story possibilities that could stem from these two species. Sadly, I did not enjoy this audiobook like the others. Because of their aristocratic and snobby nature, many of the new Imperial characters sounded the same, making it hard to understand and care about the new characters. Characters like Eli Vanto, who had an accent, were distracting at times from the story, as was the music. For the most part, the music felt completely out of place and often distracted me from the moment happening. If you've already read the previous Thrawn books, you should definitely read this. While it may not be perfect, it continues story points set up in the previous books. The book connects a lot with Rebels, and the funding conflict between the Krennic's Death Star and Thrawn's TIE Defenders is a major focus that I found interesting as someone who consumes the majority of canon content. While the story drags and can be hard to care about in the beginning, it ultimately fulfills its purpose of detailing the relationship between Thrawn and the various people he aims to serve, earning a rating of 7 out of 10.
Make sure to like, subscribe, follow me on social media, and comment down below what content you'd like to see in the future. As always, thank you all for watching, and remember,
the Force will be with you, always.